So, you're telling me, if I don't get all my perks, on top of killing each of my enemies within 30 seconds of each other, I'll die. Jason Statham is the Cranked Specialist. Alright, what's up ladies and gents? I've got a few topics I would like to cover today, and since we are playing Cranked, I don't have a lot of time to do so. So anyway, let's go ahead and hop right into this bad boy. First things first, PS4 next-gen stuff. Even though I've already covered this stuff before, unfortunately not everyone can see what I do. If you remember, I made an E3 video way back when, but well, what can you do, right? So PS4, since that just came out, and pretty much the last 2 weeks, every time I stream, several questions asking, am I gonna get PS3? Even in the YouTube comments, am I gonna get not PS3, PS4? I'm sorry. Yes, I do own a PS4. As soon as that E3 stuff was all over, 2 days after they announced the release date, I pre-ordered it on Amazon and got it the afternoon of release. I was prepared. I am not one of those suckers who is going to pay $600-700 because he did not have the foresight to, you know, foresee the shitstorm that is a brand new console release. So yes, I do own a PS4. Some of you may already know that. You may have been with me in Streamtown for Assassin's Creed 4. Fun stuff, except, well, wasn't exactly perfect, but I will cover that as well. So first impressions, what do I think you should get a PS4? Well, honestly, unless you don't have any current gen system, PS3, Xbox 360, PC, I would say hold off on it. If you do, hold off on it, and if you don't, be my guest, pick it up, because I mean every game that is out and is coming out is something that you can get on the consoles that are available right now. And plus, I have run into several problems that you may not share these same problems as me because I consider these problems to be for, I guess, what I would call the enthusiastic gamer, which I am definitely that. The games are already out. As far as graphics are concerned, it's really not that much better than current gen stuff. I did notice that the color palette is, I think, a little bit more shiny, but maybe that's because I've been playing Ghost. As you can see, color palette here is not too good. But Assassin's Creed 4 is definitely very colorful. You do notice the textures are slightly better, but you got to keep in mind the PS4 just came out. I mean, if you remember, 6-7 years ago when the PS3 first came out, I mean, those games weren't exactly brilliant looking either. I mean, compare The Last of Us with something like Heavenly Sword, and The Last of Us is going to kick its ass 6 ways to Sunday. So, if you're looking for, like, I mean, if you're big in the graphics, just hold off on it. It just came out. The graphics are not going to be amazing. We need to give the developers time to, master developing games for these new systems. So, graphics, just go ahead and throw that, that argument out the window. So, the problems that I have run into, unfortunately, I can't record PS4 gameplay conventionally. Normally, you just plug in all the right cables into your PVR, install the programs, and you're good to go. But that is not the case with PS4. It only outputs via HDMI, and PS3 has HDCP, which is a form of copyright protection so that people can't like rip Blu-ray and DVD movies and all that stuff. And unfortunately, that applies to games as well. And I realize, I know there is a workaround for this, but I absolutely refuse to pay the $50 for the splitter necessary to do so, because I am in the group thinking that, it was a feature on the last system. Why was it taken away? And it's obviously like a pathetic oversight, really, because I mean, it has built-in streaming to Twitch or Ustream, which is outputting gameplay to, other people. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, how do you miss this? It's absolutely ridiculous. And the Twitch app, I mean, for convenience, I think it's something that is, really brilliant, because if you've set up a stream before and you have no idea what you're doing, I mean, it can be pretty overwhelming, like learning all the different settings and all that. So as far as like plug and play value goes, it's fantastic, but the technology, unfortunately, I feel is very rushed and needs a bit more polish. Because I mean, if you know me, I am an active streamer, and my streams for the most part look pretty great, except for when Comcast decides to tase me, which I have no control over, unfortunately. But my streaming experience, I mean, is very pixely. And there's no really customization. There's really no indication that there's anything wrong on my end, whereas, you know, if something goes wrong when I try to stream normally, the way I always do, I know right away what the problem is. I can discern if it's Twitch, Comcast, something that I messed up on the settings, so on and so forth. So it needs a lot more polish. So that's and my headset does not work. Well, it does work, but I cannot use the microphone for like game chats or to use the microphone in conjunction with you know, outputting my voice to the PS4 Twitch app. The way it worked on PS3 was it would detect the digital audio cable, and then you would just you know, search for devices, output or input, digital audio cable, and then it would pick up my headset. And it doesn't have that yet. They plan on patching that. I have no ETA on when that's actually going to happen, unfortunately. So pretty much the saying here today is soon. Soon on headsets, fixing the PVR stuff, and Twitch app definitely needs some work. It did improve as the stream went on, but I think I spent like more than half the stream with things looking very pixely, unless there was very low movement on the screen. But you know, it's Assassin's Creed game. Unless it's a cutscene, there's pretty much always movement. So yeah. You're really not missing out on much unless you do not have a console. That is the TL too long didn't listen. So moving on, UFC 167. I had that. I rewatched the fight, and I had that 48-47 Hendricks still. I think undisputed. Everyone pretty much scores rounds 2 and 4 for Hendricks and rounds 3 and 5 for GSP. And first round is where much of the debate will come from. I think GSP, he did land more strikes, but I feel that Hendricks landed better shots. I mean, when they clinched up, he absolutely obliterated GSP's thigh. I mean, in between the fights, or even during the fights, you could see that his thigh was starting to look like hamburger, getting some welts on it. I mean, this was really nasty shots. Plus, he had some really great elbows that they had when they were tied up on the fence. But, you know, MMA, they don't really score for damage. So I'm not really sure how they would judge that round, but I still feel that Hendricks won. But I will also say I am not surprised GSP won, because Hendricks had such a terrible, awful, pathetic 5th round. I mean, going into that 5th round, I was saying to my brother and Rusty, who we were all watching it together, and I was saying, I don't think he needs to win the 5th round, but if he looks decent, or I should say, he needs to at least look decent. He doesn't need to win, he just needs to look decent, and he didn't do that. I mean, I feel he just coasted throughout the 5th round, and that's what lost him the fight. And it doesn't help that his coaches are telling, you know, you've got this, and so on and so forth. I mean, his coaches should always be telling, I mean, you got to smash this guy into the ground. You need to have it so that it's beyond the shadow of a doubt that you whipped his ass. And I know GSP didn't pass the eye test, but I mean, he just, God, you can't declare the winner of a fight, you know, based on, I guess, overall damage throughout the fight. You have to do it on a round-by-round basis. And if Hendricks had a solid 5th round, he would be the champion right now. And I have to say, in his interviews, since the fight, he sort of sounds like a whiner. I did get a kick out of he was making a comment, something like, I was like, oh, I was only going at 70%, and Dana White interrupted it and said, yeah, that's why your ass isn't champion. You should have gone 100%, something like that. And that is definitely very, very true. I mean, I still have Hendricks winning that fight, but I'm not surprised. He is not champion. He should have went hard in the 5th round. But it was definitely the hardest and most entertaining fight that GSP has put on in a very long time. So there is that. Plus, what else happened? So glad Robbie Lawler won. I mean, I don't know. Like, my first Rory McDonald fight that I watched was his fight with BJ Penn, which I thought he looked fantastic. I always enjoyed seeing BJ Penn get smashed. And then after that, he fights Jake Ellenberger in like one of the worst MMA fights I have ever seen. Oh, good lord! And he was pretty much sort of fighting the same way with Robbie Lawler, so I'm very glad he lost. Robbie Lawler, very, very exciting fighter. Josh Koscheck. Oh, he got knocked the fuck out. Oh, that was a good hit. My God, Tyrone Woodley is a pretty scary looking man. Oh God, he is fucking huge, and he popped the shit out of him. Woo! So, that is pretty much it. I should also mention that I will be streaming Assassin's Creed 4 on PC tonight. We'll be starting from the beginning again because, like I said, PS4 Twitch streaming app is not the greatest thing that's ever existed. So, and I think, actually, I should also mention this. Assassin's Creed 4 really has this, I think, interesting feature. I think, especially for someone like me, because at the end of each mission, Ubisoft is actually asking for our input on what we think of the mission. We can rate them 1 through 5 stars, you know, old school YouTube stuff, very, very fancy. And what I plan to do is at the end of each mission, you guys will be deciding what you thought of the mission. Streamtown will be deciding how good or how bad Assassin's Creed 4 is. So if you would like to join in on that, I will be streaming as soon as it gets released. Should be midnight. Or I'm not sure if it'll do like Eastern time or Central time, but you can bank on, I think, at least midnight Central time. Maybe they're going to be goofy and do it Pacific time, which I hate because West Coast sucks. But I am looking to stream tonight, so check my Twitter, creep my stream chat, and we'll see what's up. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, peace out. And don't forget, if you don't thumbs up this video, you will die. You are the good subscriber.